we'll pick them one at a time. And I mean, that's how growth is. Growth cannot be done simultaneously. I mean, you take them one at a time. And that's why we are having this conversation this morning. My name is Uduak Daniel, and this is how we get started on the Prog Show this morning. It is exactly 7 minutes gone past the hour of 9 on the AM side for today, 12 of December. I beg your pardon. Yes, 12 of the 4th of December, I beg your pardon, 2025. Oh, I think I'm just running quickly, maybe too quickly. Anyways, though, that is what it is. It is the 4th of December of 2025, and the Yuletide is around the corner. I remember Dangote has injected a couple, quite a significant number of barrels into, or crude into the system, and this is to forestall the idea of having queues, scarcity of the product. I mean, that's something good, right? Some thumbs up goes to him. And whilst we're preparing for this December and looking into 2026, right, we've seen also quite a number of innovations going on in the country, especially when it also pertain to tackling insecurity. I mean, the Senate have come out to say, you know what, it will just be a death sentence or hanging as a punitive measure for kidnappers, where finally they have opened their eyes to understanding that kidnapping and banditry, they are all terrorist acts. So, terrorism. The United States of America has made it so audacious and said, you know what? To all those who have been pushing, sympathizing, participating, one way or the other, you're gaining from the insecurity in this country. I'm talking about sponsors right there. Okay, you're blocked. Don't come to our country. No. And it will not just stop with you. It will extend to your children and your children's children, probably, I guess. That is some innovation. And the withdrawal of the police from VIPs is yet another audacious move by the Tinubu administration, as spearheaded by the IGP himself, Egbetokun. Right. Okay, finally now, let's look at, this issue that borders around the NEC, that's NEC, approving 100 billion naira for rehabilitation of security agencies' training facilities. NEC is approving a whopping 100 billion naira for rehabilitation of security agencies' training facilities. And our guest is Mr. Adekunle Lukman Adefolahan, right? And he's the Chief Operating Officer, 21st Century Community Empowerment for Youth and Women Development. But let's give a background to the discourse this morning. So the National Executive Council, NEC, has approved 100 billion naira rehabilitation package for security agencies' training facilities. And this is subject to President Bola Tinubu's final ratification. In other words, Mr. President has the final say. But this move is also aimed to addressing the dire conditions of training institutions for police and other security agencies nationwide. More like a wake-up call now. Now, the approval was made during NEC's 154th meeting, and this was held virtually. And that was just only yesterday, December 3 of 2025. Somebody's given a thumbs up already. But the rehabilitation project is part of President Tinubu's broader security sector reforms. And it is proposed during the next 152nd meeting in October 2025. So Governor, is it Governor Peter now, Mba? Yeah? Yes. So he came up through, as the chairman of the ad hoc committee. He's the Enugu state governor, right? Yes, he's the Enugu state governor. And he highlighted the urgent need for intervention, and he cited the poor state of training facilities and others. Now, this development is also coming amidst efforts to strengthen Nigeria's security architecture as well as infrastructure. Now, the confirmation of General Christopher Musa as Minister of Defense is also expected to play a crucial role in implementing these reforms. So, if you look at it, this rehabilitation or the rehabilitation of training facilities is seen by stakeholders and policymakers, as well as Nigerians and political observers, as a key step in enhancing the capacity of security agencies to tackle the emerging threats. Now, there are some professional concerns and questions that run through with the discourse this morning. And our guest is already standing by. Hello and good morning, Mr. Adekunle. Hello? All right, we will try to get through to him in a short bit, right? As we try to engage the discourse. So there are some concerns that are very, very vital to the discourse this morning. One of such concern would be the place of funding allocation. I mean, every time that I hear that monies in their whopping sums are being allocated to not just security now, they are allocated to education, to health, I get scared. Do you feel jittered too? Now, this is not because of the allocation in itself. It is about how will the monies allocated be disbursed among security agencies? And what are the expected outcomes from it? So it's one thing to say you're allocating, it's another thing to think about the outcome. What are the outcomes? Would it yield? Would it have gains? Would we be able to say that yes, these monies are indeed put in proper use? Can we say that? Or would it be lavished, embezzled, misappropriated? I mean, name it. It has different names to it now. But corruption is still corruption and stealing is still stealing. Stashed away in one person's private account or distributed into various accounts that still belong to one person after due diligence is done in terms of investigation. Isn't that what we see? So, these are our monies, hard-earned monies. How will it be distributed? How? Among the security agencies. Police has been mentioned. So it means we're looking at military too. The paramilitaries, all of them. Proper training. What is the scope of the 2.6 billion naira consultancy services, and who will be responsible for the implementation? There has been talks about the training capacity. Oh, we've been talking about the training capacity. Oh, our police needs proper training. We need to send them out there or bring, special.
The National Economic Council has approved 100 billion naira for rehabilitation of training institutions for police and other security agencies. The News Agency of Nigeria reports that,
which by the way is laudable.
They also approved the 2.6 billion naira for consultancy services for the project. The approval is subject to a final ratification by President Bola Tinubu. In his presentation, Governor Peter Mba of Enugu and Chairman NEC Ad Hoc Committee on Rehabilitation of Security Training Institutions underscored the urgency and significance of the condition of the training facilities.
So I'm happy to report that the Council resolved to approve, subject to consultation with the President, approve the request of 100 billion naira for refurbishment of these training institutions across our country. The training institutions will be for the police and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps facilities.
On his part, the chairman of the NEC, Vice President Kashim Shettima, reaffirmed the commitment of government to address the situation. He urged governors of the 36 states of the Federation to ensure that economic reforms by the state governments translate into clear, measurable improvements in the lives of Nigerians.
Our work today is a demonstration that governance is meaningful only when it improves the lives of the people. Our task is not to admire problems, but to solve them. It is not to explain challenges, but to overcome them. And it is not to hope for progress, but to engineer it with the tools available to us. This framework is not an external assessment of Nigeria. It is a shared vision for national transformation. It signals the world's acknowledgement that Nigeria is not only too important to fail, but too strategic to be ignored in the global development landscape.
But does it just stop there as your responsibility? What about the place of effective governance? What about the place of oversight? Which, of course, over time, by the past oversights, has been bastardized, by corruption riddled, in the way of progress, growth, and development. And so we find ourselves stuck again where we started from, if not sometimes backward from where we even are. And every time that these matters are also put out, there is also the place of accountability. Always the place of accountability. So what mechanisms will be put in place to ensure accountability and transparency in the use of the funds? Are there any structures that we can depend on, trust, that is out there in public domain, where you and I can access and indeed monitor? Or is it just covered up somehow? Is it just covered up somehow? Maybe in a coat of many colors, so that by the time you're chasing blue, you'll see green. They give you an excuse for green. You're chasing green. They give you an excuse for red. You're chasing red. They say, oh no, it's white now and black later. When we talk like this, some persons will say we're being pessimistic. Oh, people are not trying to be positive. Oh, we've been positive enough, and we still are. But this time, our positivity, we must hold with the benefit of the doubt and ensure that until our trust is gained and earned, we will keep looking at the other side of it. Because the other side of the story is always a story that's being told the most. There is also the place of sustainability. Will it be sustained? This architectural rehabilitation of security facilities and personnel, can it be sustained? Or will it just go down the drain again? Is this another way to siphon our monies? Or is this just propaganda? So many questions being asked. But we will dissect it with our guest already, who's already standing by. I like to call him Sir Adekunle Lukman Adefalahan. Welcome aboard to the discourse. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Indeed. It does feel good to have you indeed. And you look smart, by the way, with the glasses on. Feels good. Right. Anyways, though, let's look.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Let's look at the NEC approving 100 billion naira for rehabilitation of security agencies, training facilities. Quite a number of family members and Nigerians believe that this should have come long ago. I mean, many times we have made calls for the rehabilitation of security agencies, more training facilities and all of that. If you recall, hashtag HenSARS back in the day, I think 2020, when there were calls for the good welfareism of police, which was part of that call, and we saw how that ended, and the charade that it was made to turn out to be, which of course up until today, quite a number of youths have still not recovered from. And here we are again. The NEC, National Executive Council, is approving a whopping 100 billion naira of our monies for rehabilitation and security agencies, training facilities. When it comes to your mind, how do you assess this? How do you think about it? What comes to your mind, Sir Dikunle?
I think Nigerian government need to be serious with our security handling. 100 billion naira for training schools. I think we need more details on who will be the beneficiaries of that 100 billion, and also to do what, at what time. Because if you can't measure all those things, if you look at the training schools of security institutions that we have in Nigeria, I doubt if 100 billion will be enough. So that is why it is good government through the Federal Executive Council should be detailed enough to let Nigerians know which of the institutions will be benefiting for the training, revamping, and for what duration and for what purpose. And I give you an example. DSS is having training school. ICPC is having training school. EFCC is having training school. We have police academy. We have police training school. We have military formations. There are training schools across the country. I think there is need for specific to the disbursement of the money so that Nigerians can know when those benefiting institutions are not meeting up after disbursing such huge amount of money for them. And it also needs to be clear what that money will be for. Is it to go and train them abroad? Is it to train them here internally? Is it to buy some equipment? Or is it to support the renovation of those training schools? Because if you go to most of our training schools, the situation they are is so funny. So I think government need to be detailed about the disbursement of the money to let Nigerians know the beneficiary institutions so that people can follow up as well too. After FEC has approved, Mr. President, then also there shouldn't be delay in disbursement of that fund. Because one thing is to announce, another thing is to disburse the money in a timely manner. So all those key issues need to be addressed. Announcement is political. Disbursement is within the administrative tenant of the Office of Accountant General of the Federation. So all those specifics need to be detailed by the whoever is in charge to let Nigerians know the benefiting institutions.
All right, they should be indeed detailed, but we've always found that issue of being detailed as a problem in this country, especially when it comes to implementation. But then quite a number of persons have also mentioned the fact that, look, just as you've also rightfully mentioned, is one thing to announce, it's another thing to disburse. And when disbursement is made, there is always a process, the processing of these monies. And it is indeed in this processing of the money that we discover that there are bottlenecks who will siphon, who will stash away, who will do one thing or the other to these monies. And before you know it, we start hearing very laughable narrative as to whether an animal has taken the money or it evaporated or we just can't find it and stuff like that, which of course makes it very shameful. The process gives us this disgrace. Feeling as Nigerians, makes us feel as though we're being cheated out on, and makes it seem very ineffective. The central idea that would have benefited us in one way or the other. So, in view of this, Sir Adekunle, can we trust that this will be a disbursement of all time? That it will negate every form of previous disbursements in view of rehabilitations of security operational bases in this country? And if we cannot, do you have any idea what the government might do to ensuring that Nigerians can indeed trust the process again?
I think the best thing government can do is to set up a distinct committee that will saddle with the responsibility of implementing that concept of 100 billion naira so that they can design indicator to measure successes or failure. For example, if 20 billion will be given to DSS training school, there should be specific of what they will use the 20 billion naira to do. And even before disbursement, there is need to carry those benefiting institutions along to carry out needs assessment so that the committee or the government or office of the security advisor or minister of defense will not just implement what he or she likes. But if proper needs assessment is carried out in collaboration with the benefiting institutions, that will go a long way so that they will be able to tell them their challenges, where they need resources at that particular time. A situation, they will go and be fencing training institution, and that is not their problem. That is another problem in implementation of that laudable initiative. So I would suggest Mr. President should constitute a committee among the benefiting institutions and give them mandate on how to go about it through coordinated needs assessment, because the need of DSS will not be the same as police. The need of police will not be the same thing as the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, immigration and what have you. So there is need to carry out proper needs assessment based on the existing challenges across the security agencies. If we can do that properly, then we should now set out indicator to be measured and say between January to June, we should have the money disbursed based on the needs identified. If training is going to come on to all of them, it can't be the same training. The people you are going to train can't be of the same status. So those training need to be disaggregated based on needs. So people are now talking about AI. AI doesn't have soul. So no matter how we are going to use AI, we need to also look at the role of human being in implementing whatever they want to do. If it is technology they want to upgrade, it can't be the same technology for all the security agencies. So that is why proper needs assessment will be carried out and distill those needs based on and rank them based on priority and start implementing so that Nigeria can see it beyond political announcement of the sum of 100 billion naira. I think that would be my position.
All right. Do you also think that there is a place for stakeholders' engagement in the process, as well as a need to give a timeline to the process? Hello? Are you there? All right, we will. I think that we're.
I'm with you.
Oh, okay. So there are some political observers who are saying that look, this cannot also be done alone by the NEC. Even though the NEC is saying that they will be doing an oversight, that there is a need for stakeholders' engagement. Do you agree with that? And do you also agree with the fact that there should be a timeline, a precise timeline given to it, so that we don't have these tall stories of how it has been elongated, and before you know it, we start hearing committees being set up to look into the, all of those ambiguity.
Now, I agree that stakeholders need to be involved. But for you to involve stakeholders, you need to have proper needs assessment. It is while you are doing your needs assessment, you will map your stakeholders. We are talking about community policing now, or state policing, whatever the name we want to call it. If there is need to involve community stakeholders to be part of whatever in terms of training, that can be conceptualized at the beginning. And without having proper needs assessment, you will even know who to consult. For example, now that they are started withdrawing the police escort for the VIPs,
yes,
what will be the replacement? How do we want to replace it? If that will be part of the needs to the training school to support some institutions to do better, why not? Why you are going to consult wider? For you to consult wider, you need to engage in the needs assessment. Because without mapping, without coordinated needs assessment, the money we may likely hear it and nothing will happen. It is not the first time, it's not the second time, and I don't think it's the third time as well too. So the
right,
best and support the security agencies to deliver based on their mandates. The mandate of DSS is different from mandate of Nigerian Army. Mandate of Nigerian Army is different from mandate of Nigerian Navy. So it is when we have proper needs assessment that will give us leadway on how to do it, what to do, who to consult. Because in consultation, you still need to distill whatever you get from various consultation. The consultation can be national, the consultation can be zonal, the consultation can be done at state level. And I think the best is to carry out consultation at state level because of the peculiarities of different stakeholders. The issue of the security challenges in the northwest is different from the southeast or southwest. So that is why there is need for proper consultation without leaving anybody behind, including youth, women, person with disability, political office holder, traditional rulers, and what have you. So that consultation needs to be wider and bring everybody on board, because when we are discussing the issue of security, we all have roles to play, not only the security agencies. Right. And whatever support that each stakeholders will need to deliver for better Nigeria, I think the needs assessment and consultation will definitely show it. What we need is proper documentation as they are releasing the money to do what, who is measuring it. We don't want a situation where 100 million has been announced. Office of Okabedra said there is no fund to transfer to them. Even what are they going to use the money for need to be identified first. Because like I mentioned earlier, without proper needs assessment, you won't know what are the issues that some of them will need improvement on.
Right.
You can't say you want to train all of them. Training may not be the major issue to all of them.
Right.
You can't say you are going to buy the same technology for all of them because their mandate differs. So that is, and now follow it up with consultation that will be wider enough without being politicized. I emphasize politicized, without being politicized. Let the people see that flow so that they can have trust in the system.
Right.
They can own it. It is when people own it, when community own it, it will be meaningful and impactful and sustainable. So that if it is, if everybody are carried along, to sustain it will be simple. It may likely not require huge amount of money to sustain it. It may be what people need is political will, training and retraining, and what have you.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Well, now, this is not even the first time monies have been allocated for rehabilitation of security agencies and training centers, in Nigeria. We have seen where previous administrations have also made efforts, and the efforts were to improve this country's security infrastructure. Let me take you to 2018, where the Nigerian government allocated a whopping 1.8 billion naira for the rehabilitation of police training facilities across the country. And then it makes you wonder why we're needing so much as 100 billion naira this time. But then, similarly though, in 2020, the government approved 5 billion naira for the modernization of security training institutions. This was just in 2020, and now this is 2025, where it is worth noting that 100 billion naira approved by the National Executive Council is one of the largest allocations for security training infrastructures in recent years. And according to them, the funds are expected to be used to upgrade training facilities, to install modern equipment, and enhance the capacity of security personnel. And somebody will say it's still the same rhetorics that we've been hearing from 2018 to 2020 and now 2025 is the same thing. Have you ever wondered, Sadekunle, where exactly has all these other monies gone to? And then shouldn't there be an investigation into probing into where did this 1.8 billion naira disappear to in 2018?
Now,
and
that is exactly what I'm saying. In bringing stakeholders on board, what is the role of Office of Auditor General in monitoring such expenditure? You just roll out some amount at different years now,
right,
to improve the police training school. Does that mean Office of Auditor General have not audited the police account to know where those money was used? And when we are talking about stakeholders engagement, it's beyond inviting friends of the organization, real people, community that will feel the impact of whatever that government is going to do. Now, if you say you are going to rehabilitate training school, for example, let's pick a training school of Nigerian Police Force in Lagos, or you pick the one at Iperu in Ogun State, or you pick Udil Police Academy. How many Nigerians, how many Kano indigenes are aware that government disbursed such amount of money to even see the improvement? How many civil society organizations are aware? How many media houses carry out investigative journalism to see the proper utilization of that money? So that is why when we are talking about stakeholders engagement in disbursement of 100 billion naira, they used to carry everybody along and say we want certain number of media houses to follow up with the disbursement of the money to make sure that they are using it as planned. After 2 years, can we ask Office of Auditor General for the Federation to give us the auditing of that process to see how that money is utilized properly? Can we ask Auditor General for the Federation to commission independent auditor to audit it if the office lack manpower to do that? Because it is very clear that Office of Auditor General for the Federation is not empowered to audit and follow it up. I think the recent audit from Justice General was 2021. This is 2025, and the government has been spending money since that time, 2022, 2023, 2024. So the latest audit report from Office of Auditor General was 2021. So to let you know that when we are talking of stakeholders engagement, we need broader stakeholders that have specific role to play in utilization of public funds. Without that, we will not get it right. Okay. We need to engage in media houses to follow up on investigative journalism on how they are disbursing or they are going to disburse the 100 billion naira at the beginning to see whether they are implementing the project as proposed or as based on the needs assessment. Without that, even the community where the institutions are based, they need to play a role.
Okay, all hands has to be on deck, according to our guest right there. It's not just a NEC situation, it is an everybody thingy. And then we'll just head out now, pay some bills. We will be right back. Sarah Dekunle, are you there? Yeah, let's just go pay some bills right now. We'll be right back in a short bit. Thank you. All right, this is Eagles Morning Rises Breakfast Show. Eagles Outlook it is. And keep your fingers crossed. We're not going. Not just yet.
Any motor where you dey drive, you need confirm protection, no. For your engine, no. Keke make a mobile. Make it mobile, no. Make it mobile. Anywhere you dey, your motor deserve to be number one, yo. Make it mobile, no. Make it mobile. Hope you carry the go. Make everybody join me, say. Make it mobile.
Make you go with the best.
Make it mobile.
Things they happen for our community, eh?
Now I can recoup back all the money I have spent on this annoying family.
Hey, yeah. That woman own don't finish.
My dear, let's go and greet them, okay?
Hey! Join Media Coalition and Awareness to hold trafficking, MICAS, on I Wish I Knew radio drama and program every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Join us to kick human trafficking out of our society. I Wish I Knew radio drama and program is brought to you by MICAS and funded by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Denmark.
Right, and well, can't go any further right now on the discourse, but we see a couple of messages. I'll just make do to reel them out. This one is coming from Peter. He says, I'm new, it's my first time. Welcome aboard. Peter is sending a message from Kwali right now. Says, look, I don't believe in all of these. As much as I try to stay positive, Nigeria keeps failing me. But this time, 100 billion naira. Says, I hope that this will indeed help our training centers in Nigeria, and hopefully the fight against insecurity will be won. I am being positive this time. Okay, wants to be positive. I see this one is coming from Smiler. Smiler. It says, I'm messaging from Duce, I guess. Yeah, Duce, that's it. It says, as it stands now, the guest has spoken well. However, there's a need for coordination in all of the purpose for this money's disbursement. Trust me, we've seen monies being disbursed over time. Look at the ones you reeled out, and yet there are no reports as to how far these monies have gone, right? And it says that we should also think about some gray areas that we are not seeing at the role of state governments and supporting security agencies, training institutions, the impact of the rehabilitation project on local economies, and the potential for public-private partnerships in security training infrastructure. infrastructure. And the last one now is coming from Yusuf, all the way from Wuseitu. Good morning, UD and your guest. Approving money for rehabilitation of security training institutions to me is just a propaganda. This happens when people in authority are bereft of ideas or when they want to divert attention from the real issues, especially in desperate situations we are now witnessing. I am sure if you go through our budget provisions over the years, one will find provisions for maintenance of these institutions, but how effective did they utilize previous allocations? I agree with your guest that there ought to be needs assessment before the money is disbursed, or else the money will end up into fencing, planting flowers, and perhaps painting the walls of the institutions. I would have been excited if they are allocating money to the security agencies to acquire technology such as drones and security equipment for training of the recruits. Have a nice day, says. Well, thank you, Yusuf. Well, can't go any further as another Prog show is coming through right here and on here. Stay put. Thank you, far too kind to you, Sir Dekunle Adefola Lukman, for adding your voice in the discourse this morning.
No offense to the commercials. It's just that we want to see other audio.